I'm here today because I want to explain to everyone how to use the free chart calculator on my website, because I always tell everyone, don't try to read the chart, just scroll down to the bottom to figure out what your ascendant rising sign is and your moon sign. But what I'd like to do today is actually show you how these charts read so that you won't be confused, because there is a North Indian style chart and a South Indian style chart. Now they read the same, they're just different formats of how the chart is laid out. But the construction and all the information in either the North or the South Indian style chart are the same. And for the most part, many of you are very attuned to the circular charts in Western astrology. But I want you to be able to read all charts. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share my screen, show you my website, and I'm going to show you exactly how to read the North and the South Indian style chart, so it won't be so foreign to you every time you look at it. So here we go. I'm about to share the screen. And as I do, I'm bringing you to the Galactic Center website. And by the way, I'm showing you this because I always want everyone to make sure that you sign up for my free newsletter, which the minute you pull up my website, you should have something that says sign up for the free newsletter. And that's where you will get all of my free predictions every week. Now, if you want to, if you're interested in my new magazine, click on that. It's a bargain. It's $9.99 a month. You don't want to miss that, and it's full of information. I have a new workshop I'm going to do in September on the outer planets. And also, don't forget, I have my Shooting Stars series. But I wanted to bring you to the main page so you knew exactly where to click for the free chart calculator. It's right here, birth chart calculator, there. Click on that, and then you'll come up to this page, which I'm going to fill it out with you. So there will be no mystery on how to do this. So I thought we might just pull up the chart of somebody that most people know. I thought Britney Spears, she's pretty in the news all the time. Britney Spears. Okay, put your name in there. Whoops, I misspelled Britney. Britney Spears, there we go. Now, what's her birth date? It is, you just click this arrow going down. Here, let me get to where I scroll a little bit better. So down here, won't let me scroll yet. Down here, she was born the month of December. So you just click on that. Go over here to the day. She was born December 2nd. But remember, you can scroll down to every day of the year of the month, right there, December 2nd, and then type in the year. She was born 1981. Okay. Now here for the time, you click on that. She was born at 1:30 a.m. right here. It's clear as day, 1:30 a.m. And the minutes there were 30 minutes. Oops, there, 30 minutes right there. And then you can scroll down. She was born in the United States in the state of Mississippi. So let's scroll down to Mississippi right here and put in the city. And she was born in Mahon, Mississippi. And then you have to click validate. And that'll just, when it gives you the little check mark there, then you're good. Then you just, oh, and make sure you choose male or female. So she's a female, so submit it. So now that you put all the information in and the charts come up, they look like this. This is the North Indian style chart, and this is the South Indian style chart. Now let me explain how they're set up, because it doesn't matter if you are doing North or South. They both read the same. they're just different formats, and it depends on who your teacher was as to what format you learned Vedic astrology with, and that's going to be the one you're most comfortable with. There's no such thing as one being better than the other, just which one you feel most comfortable with. And my teachers apparently came from the south of India. That's why I use the South Indian style chart. But let me explain the north, because I think if you are a Western astrologer, this one is the most confusing. Why? Because these numbers are not the house numbers. They are the numbers for the signs. And in the natural zodiac, starting from Aries being the first sign, Aries is number 1, Taurus is number 2, Gemini is number 3, Cancer is number 4, Leo is number 5, Virgo is number 6, Libra is number 7, Scorpio is 8, Sagittarius is 9, Capricorn is 10, Aquarius is 11, and Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, so it's number 12. But in this format, North Indian style, the houses are fixed. So I don't mean fixed, I mean frozen, they never change. That's what I mean. But so looking at this first diamond, and actually this diamond represents the angles of the chart, which we call the kendras. And the kendras, or the angles in a chart, are the strongest houses. So when you use the North Indian style chart, the kendras pop out at you. You see them right away, the houses of power and energy. And what are those angular houses that we call kendras? This is house number 1, this is house number 4, this is house number 7, and this is the 10th house. So you see this diamond represents the angles in the chart. But everything in this chart moves counterclockwise. So starting here from house number 1, and as you can see with the number 6 here, that means that her first house, therefore her ascendant, is what? Virgo. Virgo's the 6th sign. And then moving counterclockwise to this particular diamond, or triangle, that is the 2nd house. And she has Jupiter there. JU is for Jupiter. And by the way, SA is for Saturn. So Saturn's in the 1st house in Virgo. Jupiter's in the 2nd house in Libra. The 7 is Libra. Then going to the 3rd house, she has Mercury and Sun in Scorpio. And then when you go to the 4th house, she has K2, that's what K2 is, in Sagittarius. That's the 9th sign. Then when you go to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is the 5th house. And the 5th house has Venus and Moon in it. And they're in Capricorn, because that's the 10th sign. Now let's go to the 6th house. The 6th house has Aquarius on its cusp. Then when we go to the 7th house, that is Pisces. There's no planets in these 2 houses. And going from the 7th house to the 8th house, the 8th house has Aries on its cusp. That's number 1. Number 2 on the 9th house is Taurus. And this is her 10th house, which is Gemini, and Rahu is in Gemini. Let's go to the 11th house. That's the 4th sign, and that is Cancer's on the 11th house. And going to her 12th house here, she has Mars in Leo, the 5th sign. That is how you read the North Indian style chart. Now, this is the Navamsha. It's a divisional chart of the birth chart. We're not going to worry with that now. We'll worry about that in another class. But let's now go to the South Indian style birth chart. And this one's probably the most confusing, because unless somebody's taught you, you have no idea that the signs are frozen on the houses, and it doesn't change. It is the format from chart to chart. And pay attention. Let me tell you what signs that you're supposed to know are going to be on these squares, no matter whose chart you're looking at. So this right-hand top corner is always Gemini. So remember this, that the houses are fixed in the North Indian style chart, but the signs change. But in the South Indian style chart, the signs are fixed. In other words, they don't change, but the houses change. So the format is this. This is Gemini, this is Cancer, this is Leo, this is Virgo, this is Libra, this is Scorpio, this is Sagittarius, this is Capricorn, this is Aquarius, and this is Pisces, and this is Aries, and this is Taurus. So you see, the signs are fixed. That's the format for all the charts. No matter whose chart you're looking at, those signs will be on those squares. But what changes are the houses. So depending on where the ascendant sits, that always marks the first house. So you see her ascendant is here in Virgo, because you're supposed to know that this corner bottom square is always Virgo. And her Saturn is in Virgo. Remember, Saturn in Virgo in the first house, Saturn in Virgo in the first house. This is her second house. One thing to always remember about the South Indian style chart is everything in this chart moves clockwise. So it moves the direction clockwise. Whereas in the North Indian style chart, it moves counterclockwise. So moving down here, Saturn is in the first house in Virgo. Jupiter is in the second house, and that's in Libra, just like up here. Jupiter's in the seventh sign Libra, second house. The Mercury and Sun are in the third house, and they are in Scorpio, just like up here, 1, 2, 3, third house, but eighth sign, they're in Scorpio. Down here, K2 is in the fourth house, and K2 sits in Sagittarius, and Rahu is always exactly opposite. It's kind of why I like the South Indian style chart. You can see the oppositions so much easier, in my opinion. So Rahu sits up here in Gemini, while K2 sits down here in Sagittarius. Venus and the moon sit here in the fifth house, and they are in the sign of Capricorn. This square is always Capricorn. Look up here. Venus and moon are in the fifth house in the 10th sign Capricorn. So this is, let's see here, this is going to be that's the fifth house, so that's the sixth house. And so you can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's in the sign of Aquarius, just like up here. Then you get to the seventh house, which is opposite the first house, and that's Pisces, just like this is her seventh house, 12th sign Pisces. Then go to the eighth house, which is going to be here, which is always Aries. So here's the eighth house. Number 1 is a sign Aries. Eighth, ninth house is right here. So the ninth house is going to be Taurus. If you look right here, it's the ninth house, second sign Taurus. And then you get to the 10th house, which is where Rahu sits in what? What sign? Gemini. So that's Gemini. Then the next house, which is the 11th house here. Remember, the houses are what change in the South Indian style chart. So that is the 11th house, and that's Cancer. So you see up here. And then up here is the 12th house. Mars sits in the 12th house in Leo. And right here is the 12th house. Counting all the way around from the ascendant, you arrive at the 12th house. And that house is always going to be Leo. So she has Mars in Leo. That's how you read the South Indian style chart. Now, as I said, you can go down here. Now, this even gives you the dashas, which are amazing. We'll get into that in another class. But the dashas are the planetary periods. And when you change from one cycle to the next, your life changes, because then the way those planets are placed in your chart will give their results. But down here, for those that don't know, you can just scroll down here. Here's the ascendant at 9 degrees 47 minutes, and that's going to be the ascendant. It doesn't give the degrees in here. At least down here you can figure out the degrees. And the sun's in Scorpio. The moon is in Capricorn. Remember up here, moon being in Capricorn with Venus in Capricorn. It's in the 5th house. So you can figure out the houses here by the directions I just gave you. And Mars being in Leo, you don't know what house it's in. Let's see, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's how you would know what house it's in. So going up down here, Mercury is in Scorpio. Don't worry about all this stuff. It means it's close to the sun, combust. And this great friend and enemy stuff, please don't worry about that. It's when you start to understand what signs and planets are friendly or not friendly with. You do not need to know that right now. But what you can see is here are the nakshatras that your planets are in. And the most important nakshatra for you will be your moon's nakshatra, which is right here. The moon is in Capricorn in Shravana. And the moon sits at 18 degrees 47 minutes. And the moon, what house is it in? Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's in the 5th house. Okay, so when you look down here at Mars, Mars sits at, we already did Mars, it sits in the 12th house in Leo. Mercury is at 11 degrees of Scorpio. What house is it in? 1, 2, 3. It's in the 3rd house in Scorpio. Jupiter is in Libra. What house is it in? Let's go back up here. 1, 2. Jupiter is in Libra in the 2nd house. Venus is in Capricorn, 1 degree. Let's see. Where is Venus from the ascendant? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Venus sits in the 5th house, and so does the moon. Okay. Let's go back here. Saturn's in Virgo. What house does Saturn sit in? The 1st house, because it's here with the ascendant. And it sits at 25 degrees and 40 minutes. Rahu is at 29 degrees of Gemini. Right here is, and what house is that? The 10th house. Okay. And Ketu, which Rahu and Ketu are exactly always opposite. See, 29 degrees, 33 minutes, 39 seconds. Ketu's in Sagittarius. What house is it in? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ketu's in the 4th and Rahu's in the 10th. So now I think you should be able to use this to better understand how these charts are constructed. What is the format of the South or the North Indian style chart? Especially if you're coming from Western astrology, this is totally, totally different and seems very foreign. But you know what? The more you use it, the more you get used to it, the more you get comfortable with it, and the more you'll like it. You'll see what I mean. So with that, I'll close. Thank you so much for listening, and I think you're going to have better luck now, definitely, with, let me get out of here, better luck with looking at how the chart is constructed using the North or the South Indian style chart. So thank you for listening.